All right, Josh, there has been all kinds of talk about who's the greatest of all time in all the different weight classes and stuff. But the question of who is the greatest welterweight ever
Oh,
in the UFC has come up again. And Dana White has he's spoken up on this. And he's basically said, when you talk about Kamaru Usman, who went through the welterweight division twice, which I don't
I
remember
don't
that,
remember
but
that
we'll talk
either.
about it. Okay. You might not like Kamaru. Why would you not like Kamaru? First off, he's a great guy. But you cannot fucking deny that Kamaru Usman is the greatest welterweight of all time. Okay, my question to you is it that Dana White dislikes George St. Pierre so much that he just wants to put it out like that? Or has he forgotten about a guy named George St. Pierre?
I think he's trying to forget about a guy like George St. Pierre. No, I look,
Okay.
I think, look, later on, this is a rinse, wash, repeat thing that promoters are going to always do. Like, I don't think that GSP should take this personal. And I think later on, when Dana does this to Kamaru Usman later on, when another welterweight comes along,
Somebody else?
he shouldn't take it personal. This is what they do. This is not, I say they. This is what the promotions do. It doesn't matter. They're going to continue to do, because if they're not constantly building up new stars or constantly saying this is the greatest fighter of all time when they make their return, then how are you going to get people to tune in? How are you going to get people to watch?
Can't get people to tune in for someone that's not fighting for you.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. That was very, very well put there, John. Very well put.
Thank you very much.
Look, I'm going to always, look, I consider GSP my GOAT. And people want to say John Jones. That's a separate conversation. You know, I'm just talking someone that hasn't tested for anything. He's been clear. He's got two title belts in two different weight classes. I go with GSP. He was never surrounded with any of the drama. He's a fantastic pro inside and outside of the cage. All those things to me make a big deal, are a big deal. I think he was a fantastic fighter. He was someone who he dealt with adversity in the Matt Serra fight, came back, revamped himself, made himself a wrestler, and dominated fights that way. And then when he didn't need to wrestle, he utilized his stand-up. He became one of the most well-rounded mixed martial artists of his time during that era. He was doing things that a lot of people weren't doing. Matt Hughes made him better, made him learn how to be a better wrestler. Okay, Matt Serra made him learn that he understood that he couldn't just be on his feet with everyone. He had to utilize ways to take people down and dominate top position. He went back and proved that against Matt Serra. He revamped himself several times to get rid of all the doubters out there. You know, only was it when he got a little bit older in age, everyone kept saying, oh, these fights were too close. These fights he lost that fight to Johnny Hendricks. Oh, he should have lost that fight to this guy. Stop, guys. He still won. He still won. And no matter how you judged it, the fights were close. It wasn't like it was a runaway. He took some big shots, took some damage. But guess what? That's what's going to happen as you start to get older and the young bucks come knocking on your door. You know, John Jones going up to heavyweight is not the same thing as GSP staying in his division and fighting some of the toughest and most talented fighters that have ever stepped foot in the cage. John Jones fought a lot of great fighters. I get it, at 205. But like I've always said, the talent level at the 170, 155, 145, it's just different. Once you start to get old and that speed starts to go, it becomes harder to stay at the top.
Dave, do me a favor. Pull up GSP's record, because as I recall, if you were going to think, what was his last loss? It was to Matt Serra.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay. And now that was UFC 69. I can remember that from 69. Okay. So you take a look at that, and when you sit there and you say, this is where I have the problem with, and again, it's just like you're saying, like Kamaru is still fighting for the UFC. And so Dana's going to give, this credit to Kamaru. And look, I think Kamaru is a phenomenal fighter. I think he's done a great job for the UFC. But Matt Serra was his last loss. That was in 2007. Okay. And he continued to fight. Do me a favor, go to his last fight against Michael Bisping. I know it's going to be in the top there. And he kept fighting. I was going to say it was 2017 because I know that's when I retired. So 10 years, Josh, 10 years of being undefeated. All right. all those fights, and this is what I want to say is, take a look at the people that he fought here. Johnny Hendricks, was he one of the top fighters in the welterweight division? Yes. Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, Jake Shields, Josh Koscheck, Dan Hardy, Thiago Alves. Move that thing for me real quick. Come on. You're falling behind, Dave.
Scroll down.
Jeez.
Dave's tired.
BJ Penn.
Eyes are tired.
BJ Penn, John Fitch, Matt Serra to get a win against the guy that beat him. Matt Hughes, who he got a win already against the guy that beat him. Those are the only two guys that ever beat him, was Matt Hughes and Matt Serra. Josh Koscheck again. BJ Penn again. Sean Shirk, Frank Trigg. I mean, you're going to sit there and look and say,
yeah,
as a champion, I can see all of these people, John Fitch, BJ Penn, all these ones, Josh Koscheck. As a champion, he fought Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit was a monster. I loved Carlos Condit as a fighter. I think about Kamaru Usman, and I can think of people that he fought as the champion because, look, he beat Tyron Woodley to gain the championship. He fought Colby Covington twice, right? Mm-hmm. He fought Gilbert Burns, all right? He fought Leon Edwards twice and lost.
Fought Masvidal twice.
He fought Masvidal twice. Okay, when you're saying cleared out the division twice, where's the division? I'm not. He fought a couple of guys twice, George Masvidal, and he fought Colby Covington twice. He fought Gilbert Burns once, but that's really the run that you're looking at for him being the welterweight champion. It's a run of 4 people.
I get what you're saying, but I also think what Dana is trying to say is, look, he fought guys before he got to that title. He had a long run. Go scroll down more. And none of them were at the level of which the guys that George St. Pierre had to fight.
But clearing out the division is not when you're not the champion. No. Clearing out a division is when you're the champion.
I understand that, John, but sometimes guys have to clear it out to get to the title. So it's unfair for them. Yeah. I get what you're saying. True. It's just unfair. True. Like John Fitch pretty much cleared out the division to get to a title shot.
Just to get to the title shot against St. Pierre.
Because they don't, if they don't like you, and I'm not saying that they didn't like Kamaru, but they tend not to favor the wrestlers. And we know that. They make those guys win double the amount of fights before they get to a title shot. You got to win 8 in a row or 9 in a row. Bilal Muhammad, where's he at right now? 11 wins in a row? Is that where Bilal's at? Something like that, 9 or
at least 9.
Yeah, at least 8 or 9, right?
9.
So he's in that conversation right now. Like, how come I'm not getting my title shot? Because you're a fucking wrestler and you're 37 years old. That's why. That's why they're not going to give it to you. And has nothing to do with him as a person. It just has to do with that's what they're doing. And Kamaru Usman cleared out kind of the division, on his way up, and then got stuck fighting rematch after rematch. It's no. He didn't do it to himself. The UFC did it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you sit there and you say that, he cleared out the division twice? Come on. That's just not a true statement. And look, I understand that GSP, when you gave him a title fight as a middleweight and he told you that he would fight certain people and then he decided, I'm not doing that. I understand why you're upset by it. Okay. But again, all's fair in love and war. And, sometimes it works for you. Sometimes it doesn't. But you can't take away from what George St. Pierre did. And again, I'm not trying to take away from what Kamaru Usman did. I think Kamaru is a phenomenal fighter. But if you're going to say who's been the best welterweight of all time, it's hard to go against GSP in my opinion.
Well, John, I can't say that he's been the best welterweight of all time because that means that he would be the best fighter of all time. I've got GSP as the best fighter of all time. I can't put Kamaru.
Hold on. No, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying you didn't make sense there.
What do you mean?
Because you're talking about. I thought you were talking about George. I can't say he's the best welterweight of all time.
No, I'm talking about Kamaru. I can't say Kamaru is the best welterweight of all time when I have GSP as the best fighter of all time. I can't. And when I look at the guys that he's beaten and the way, like the things that, like, go back to GSP's record here.
Yeah, do that.
And when I'm looking at, and look,
it's crazy.
I guess we got to go back through this. Is Matt Serra with the knockout, but go back to Matt Hughes. I'm going to go down to the Matt Hughes loss. He lost to Matt Hughes, and he was embarrassed by himself on how he lost with 1 second left in the first round, tapping to an armbar that wasn't even straight yet. But I want to go back up to when he beat Matt Hughes. And when he beat Matt Hughes, the way he did it and the things he did inside that cage and the wrestling that he showed in that fight, it was in Sacramento. I was there watching it.
Yep.
I'm thinking to myself,
UFC 65.
Holy shit. He literally stuffed a takedown on a whizzer, switched in the air as Matt tried to lift him up, and whizzered the other side and got out. I was like, what in the hell did I just witness? I witnessed greatness. Yeah. That's what I witnessed. Yeah. It was fantastic. And then
I was in the cage saying the exact same word.
I bet.
What the hell did I just see?
Oh, you know, and then the head kick knockout over Matt Hughes and beautifully done, finish up with punches. Then loses to Matt Serra next. You know, it happens. Beats Josh Koscheck in a 3-round fight. Josh was a better wrestler on paper. But, you know, Josh kept telling me, this guy, he can't take me down. He'll never take me down.
Again, you talk about there was a moment in that fight, his first fight, which was a non-title fight against Josh Koscheck. Josh Koscheck has George St. Pierre up in the air, 5 feet, up in the air, flat to horizontal with the ground. And George never hit the ground. His foot hit the ground and he stayed up. And I was like, how in the hell did he just do that?
And because Josh had the way where he would snatch the single and he'd run you to a double and flare you out and basically take you down. With GSP, he just floated in air with the whizzer until they hit the ground and put his foot down and basically flattened him back out and worked his way back up to the clinch in his feet. He did it so smoothly. But look, there was so many things that he had to deal with through adversity, right? He loses to Matt Serra, beats Josh Koscheck, fights Matt Hughes, wins by armbar. Matt Serra fights again.
That was when he got his title.
That's when he got his title back.
UFC 83.
Then he beats John Fitch, just dismantles John. John was one of my main training partners, great guy. You know, then fights BJ Penn. Corner stoppage. I mean, like he just goes through this list of guys, man, all of them. But look, you got to start thinking, right? When he gets to like Carlos Condit, guys that are super dangerous, but just don't have they don't have that, like, I should be intimidated. Jake Shields, Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz. I shouldn't be super intimidated by you guys because I feel like I'm better than you all the way around, and you guys don't really bring anything to the table that I haven't seen. I've already defended my title 5 times. That's when you started seeing him. He got hit. Remember, he got kicked by Carlos Condit in the head? He got wobbled, got on the stanky leg.
Yeah, put him down.
You know, there was that. And then Jake Shields. Jake Shields did fucking more damage to him than fucking all 4 of the guys before him. And Jake Shields got the worst fucking stand-up in the game. Jab, 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 right hand, body kick, jab, body kick, jab. It's like it was super simple, but that shit was annoying as hell. I sparred that guy so many damn times. It was annoying as hell. But GSP walked out of there, beat up, looked like he'd been through a war. I mean, there's just certain guys that just he had to deal with the adversity in there and just never got the credit he deserved for dealing with that adversity because he had made it look so easy so many times before. And as much as I love Kamaru Usman, and I do think that he is one of the most talented fighters to ever step foot in the cage, I can't put him up there with GSP. I just can't. I have GSP as my GOAT. I would put the most talented fighter ever is John Jones. But the one that has not skirted or fucked around the system at the top, I'm going to go with GSP. You know, I got to go that way. And nothing against Kamaru, man. I got nothing but respect for him. I was the idiot that always, as Kamaru was coming up, that said, nah, I'm going to take the other guy. Nah, I'm going to take the other guy. And he always made me look foolish until finally, eventually, I was like, man, how can I go against him? Kamaru, you're the man. Kamaru, you're the man. But GSP is the man, dude. I can't go against him. Got nothing but respect for him.